Hey, I wanted to make a different kind of video. We've been doing a lot of deep dives into samplers, and I figured I'd talk about some other kind of stuff that I guess we as creative people can face. So let's talk about creativity and tools. We often start a project or a new hobby with very little knowledge of what we're doing. This gives us, for lack of a better term, a new world to explore. I remember when I was a kid, my mom bought me a set of paints and some large art paper. I knew very little about painting. The only thing I really knew is I liked colors. I was handed this tool and with no parameters, just a literal blank canvas to create whatever I wanted. There was no worry about skill or any pressure to create anything on a deadline. It was all pure exploration. I remember my father giving me my first computer. I knew nothing about what it could potentially do. I was never even told it was for a specific purpose. All I knew was that I wanted to explore what it was. A few years later, he gave me a copy of Reason. I had no idea how any of it worked. I just knew it was a new set of paints and a new canvas. The actual point of this whole diatribe, I guess the point I'm trying to convey is that it's very difficult to reopen a lane of exploration without boundaries. It's especially difficult to approach things with a fresh and eager set of eyes. Even now, I can look at the specs of a machine or instrument and I often focus on what it can't do for me. Point is, I've been struggling with my creative outlets lately. I think the stress of the world and the continuously changing landscape of work, life, and algorithmic content has an absolute effect on a person's creative output. We all have things going on in our personal lives that also might weigh heavy on us. I know from experience that when you disappoint yourself creatively, it can also add to the weight of stress on your shoulders. There have been nights when I have sampled stacks of records and ended up with nothing. There have also been nights when I sampled the dumbest thing and came up with an incredible start to a larger project. With the advent of AI, there's a constant push to use whatever you can to make yourself faster and smarter. I absolutely think some AI tools can be useful, but that's a different video. I wanted to take this time to tell everyone to take a deep breath. Now, I'm not a big artist. I've released some things. I do it mostly because I love it, but point being, slow down for a minute if you must. One of the things I've learned about my own art is that even if I don't like it, that doesn't mean someone else won't. It helps to walk out of my studio space and see my partner bobbing their head to something that I was going to name garbage number 563 and telling me they really liked what I'm working on. I've been in a session with incredibly talented friends and had them tell me, "You're really going to trash this?" And eventually they convinced me to keep it and finish it. I know this can be hard. It's okay when things are hard. We can combat the difficulty through routine. We can get so used to it that it becomes second nature. By that, I mean writing, recording, creating, and just in general, releasing. I've never really had a huge issue with stage fright. Maybe that one time my group played for a full amphitheater, but for most normal shows around our state, I had no issues with it. I wanted to start making videos a few years ago and felt weird in front of a camera. When I first started making videos, someone gave me this tip for getting comfortable around cameras. They told me to set one up on a tripod wherever I am, like when I'm in the middle of doing stuff, and just keep it off and let it sit there like it's another person in the room. Eventually, the familiarity of it being close to you will translate into comfort. It works quite well, and I haven't been bothered by the existence of a camera in a long time. I think this general concept can work for anything. Apply it to the act of creating, even if you sit at your MPC or computer, whatever you choose, just turn it on and make some sounds with it. We can be our own worst critics. The weight we carry from everyday life can be the enemy of the art we want to create. The bottom line is that it's your art. It's your mark on the world. It's a piece of you. I often struggle with beat tape releases. The stresses of pleasing the algorithm or getting it on some kind of playlist can be daunting. Who really cares? It doesn't really matter. Put the work out no matter what. I'm going to try and take some of my own advice here and release more music. If I remember, John Wayne did a really good video about creating and the creative process, so shouts out to him. I've been trying some new ways to output more creative work lately, so I guess as a suggestion, if you have been feeling the way I have lately, try some different tools. Learn to take time to play around with things. Explore. As you all know from this channel, I collect hardware, mostly stuff I lusted after when I was a kid. I have a huge interest in hip-hop and electronic music, and in how the machines that made it worked. I love the circuitry and how the electronics interact with each other. I managed to build up a collection of hardware and software over the years. However, I have a long history with DAW software as well. I went to college to get an audio engineering and recording degree. I did the whole Pro Tools certification thing, which ended up not being as useful as I had originally thought. When I was a kid, my friend had a copy of FL Studio 3. I had a copy of Reason, and I had a copy of Sony Acid. I look back on a lot of this time as a positive experience. Sure, most of the stuff I made was garbage, but at that point, you're more into exploring what you can do. It led me to try something I haven't done in a while. I decided to explore new DAWs I haven't had much experience with, and approach them like I had no prior recording knowledge, keeping things simple and not focusing on the technicalities of it. It's not the tool, it's the craftsman, is a 100% accurate statement. Burnout is also very real. Sometimes approaching something you've done a million times in a different way can unlock a new way of thinking about it. Demos are free. Friends can swap equipment with you. Try making a whole beat on an iPhone app. It's all valid in the sense of shaking up the comfort zone. I like to make beats when I travel. Something about being in a new place sparks a little bit of creativity. I turn to my phone or iPad sometimes to see if I can make something I would release with that set of tools. Nowadays, my software of choice is usually Ableton. I'll admit though, that working in the industry I work in for my day job, the last thing I really want to do in my time off is look at a computer screen. I wanted to find tools that seemed fun right off the bat, something completely different from what I was used to. I ended up running through a lot of options. I tried Bitwig, and I even bought another copy of FL Studio, even though I haven't kept up with it over the years. I wanted to try things that have become unfamiliar to me. The search for that childlike brand new wonder of having to do something in a completely different way. I was flying to my wife's hometown, which is about 6 hours away by plane. Brought my iPad and some headphones on the flight. I discovered Drambo, a massive modular DAW for iPad and iPhone. The Flex sampler device inside it is so close to the Octatrack, it's not even funny. I spent 6 hours feeding out audio from Koala to Drambo and mashing up a bunch of records I had sampled and saved in my iCloud. It was incredibly inspiring, liberating, and fun. I downloaded a demo of a tracker program on my home computer and my laptop called Renoise, and I fell in love with it. I was trying new things and beginning to think about the things I was doing in a different way. I was learning the why behind some things as well. I've never been a big chiptune guy. I think it's really cool. I wouldn't have been able to tell you where to start creating it. I've always appreciated drum and bass and jungle music from the 90s and the soundtracks from early PS1 games. Downloading a tracker helped me understand the ethos of those genres, and it guided me to the tools and techniques used to make them. One of the biggest takeaways from that is I now think trackers are one of the coolest and fastest ways to make sample-based music. Needless to say, I think it's good to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and experience something different. Better yet, experience something familiar in a different way. If that makes any sense. Everything you perceive can add to your art, whatever that may be. Don't be afraid to release things or show things to people. Only listen to criticism if it's constructive, and you'll be well on your way. With the way the world is going right now, we need all the art and creativity we can get. Just don't let Timberland feed it into Suno. In all seriousness, the way the platforms are shifting to include generated content is becoming more and more disheartening. The advantage we have is that robot art lacks soul and human curiosity. You cannot really break that down into logic a machine can understand yet. I really appreciate all of you who check these videos out. I want to start doing more vlog style content, as I'm going to start toying with the idea of opening an art space or maybe a record store. It's really been inspiring to read all your comments and share some of my favorite machines. It's even been more inspiring to find out that they are some of your favorites too. Being creative in this way has also been another way I've broken out of my comfort zone and tried something new. I don't really worry about growth. I like to take more of a spiritual approach, if you could call it that. The content I put out, I believe it'll reach the people it's meant to reach. Resampled also wants to get more involved. We're opening a Discog store with an emphasis on vinyl for sampling. I'll post the link on this video if anyone wants to browse it. Thanks to the few that have joined the Discord. I'm hoping to run some beat battles or maybe a sample swap there or something. In closing, keep creating, keep exploring, and keep learning.